Hello, it's Kelsey. Let's start wherever you are. If you can, take a deep breath with me and let it out with a sigh. Let's do that again. Maybe place a hand on your heart, another one on your belly, and let's just take a deep breath again. And this time, if there's any kind of movement that wants to come, please feel free to let that happen. Inhaling. Okay, I can get a little carried away. So man, been some interesting couple of days here. Very challenging with the fires that are happening up north in Paradise. And actually, I've been walking around town. I was at the farmer's market yesterday wearing this mask. Excuse me. You know, it's smoky and outside the air is very thick. Thinking also about all the people and beings that have lost so much up there. And last time I checked, the fires were about 25% contained, so still have a lot of work to do. And I've been feeling in my body almost like smoke, feeling kind of diffuse, unable to really focus, get things done, sink in, feel grounded, been kind of moving and drifting and, unsure, and reading the news, looking at the photos, talking to friends. So it's kind of reminded me how our nervous system is like a tuning fork, right? Like a tuning fork, the ding and then right? So the nervous system naturally syncs up to our environment wherever we are without us really having to do anything to make that happen. So when something's awry or there's an intense energy happening, then our body starts to kind of take that on, and it can show up in lots of different ways. Depression, anxiety, listlessness, all kinds of ways that our body tries to kind of communicate to us that it's off its center. And, this feature of our bodies isn't necessarily a design flaw. Syncing up to our environment is actually quite helpful in many instances. Being with friends and feeling the sense of togetherness and connecting in the world and feeling kind of maybe a joyful energy when you're around certain people, or certain people who just seem to be able to calm you down when you're stressed out. If you have a meditation practice, you might have noticed that when you meditate on your own, it can sometimes be more difficult to settle your mind than when you're, meditating with a group. So in many instances, it can be wonderful when our nervous systems are syncing. It can help us feel this sense of connection and belonging and being in the right place, When I was younger, 16, it was kind of the grunge era, and I remember going in the mosh pit and like how great that felt to be like with all those bodies and just feeling the music and like getting into the beat. So it could be really satisfying. But then, it's also helpful to have practices to help us come back to our own center or re-attune when we've taken on something that's not helpful or when we just have too much. There's too much going on. And especially in the world that we live in today, there's a lot of too much happening, just with the nature of our societies and the challenges ahead, socioeconomically, environmentally, politically, right? There's a lot of big energy, a lot of emotion, and when our bodies are sinking to that or feeling that, having practices to help us come back to something that's, more aligned with where we are is really important. So this is where having some kind of embodiment practice is helpful. So I'll give you a couple things. One super easy thing you can do when you've taken on something that brings up energy, anger, and it's really clear that like this is not yours, you can actually thrust it out by like hua, hua, moving from your center, finding the strength of your core, and then hua, pushing it out. So, and you can do this, if you have a lot of space, you can do this in your room and really go for it. Hua! And if you're somewhere public or don't want to take up that much space, you can do it quietly. You can just do a little like, it helps to make a sound. I don't know. There's something about moving energy out that making a little sound is good. So that's like when something has come up that you're like, no, thank you. And you recognize it immediately. So real quickly, another piece, and this is something that I would integrate in every morning or every night, just sort of this way of coming back to ourself or starting the day with a sense of like grounding, is to place one hand on your heart and another on your belly, and just for a few, maybe a minute, maybe a couple minutes if you have the time, to just feel the rise and fall of your breath in your body. So we'll do this together if you would like. And then from here you can invite a little swaying, rocking action, which is a motion that we engaged in while we were in the womb. If we think about our mother walking around town with us in her belly, I imagine it was the sense of rocking that we felt. And then after we're born and we're being nursed or held, or soothed, this rocking motion is often what people will do with a child to help them calm. And then from here, you can layer on a little sound, a little humming, which can be as quiet or as loud as feels right to you. And then when you feel ready or complete, you can just take a deep breath to end your practice. And you might find it even kind of takes you into a little trance, which is all good. You know, take as much time there as you need. You could set a little timer so you don't go too long. And especially with the holidays coming up, I would say to have a practice of rocking, breathing, humming every night, every morning, in the afternoon, maybe going in a bathroom on your lunch break and just, you know, coming back to the pace of your body. All right. Thank you for watching. And a heads up, I'm going to do a Facebook Live in a couple, probably right before Thanksgiving, with some tips for embodiment tools and mindfulness tools to help us stay sane amid what can be a very intense, insane season. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching.